I'm going to talk about the village. Okay, so we mentioned villages a couple of times. That wonderful woman back there, she mentioned a village. I mentioned a village. It takes a village. Sabina mentioned a village. It takes a village. Okay, so this is one village that I want you to be aware of, and that's hospice. So dementia, Alzheimer's, is like the sixth leading cause of death in this country. Okay, the sixth leading cause of death. And so people think, well, how can people die from not remembering things? But it's the sixth leading cause of death in this country because people forget to eat, people fall, people get pneumonias, a lot of things happen. And so it's the sixth leading cause of death. And so when a person is declining, then at least something that you might think about is hospice. And hospice has a bad connotation. It's like what this gentleman, it's like Alzheimer's. It's evil to even mention the word hospice and Alzheimer's, and these are evil words. But it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I put my mother and father on hospice. That's how much I believe in it. But it's your village. So when things are declining, a person is not eating, losing weight, sleeping more, falling more, going to the hospitals often, then maybe it's time to think, if there's a decline, then I need to call in my village. And when you have this village, you get not only a doctor, and in this case, a medical director or whoever the doctor is, you get nurses that will come to your home. And they are just wonderful, caring people. I think some of my favorite nurses are hospice nurses because they have a wonderful heart to do what they do. And if something happens in the middle of the night, you have somebody to call, somebody to hold your hand, somebody to tell you what to do next. And that's 24/7. And if necessary, they'll come and visit. Okay? You'll have a social worker to get through some of the bureaucracy, whether it's insurances or Medi-Cal or whatever it is. The bureaucracy is a burden, and maybe somebody to help wade through that would be useful. So you get a social worker. We have a chaplain, just the kindest, wonderful man that will also hold your hand and give you counseling, grief counseling, spiritual counseling, whatever you need to help strengthen you so you can get through this tough time. You have home health aides who can come and help bathe or help do things. So again, you would inherit this village if you do hospice. And hospice is not giving up. Okay, so that's the thing is, when people hear the word hospice, it's like a dirty word. Oh my gosh, don't say that in public. That's a taboo. But really, hospice doesn't mean that you're giving up. It doesn't mean that they're going to get morphine and they're just going to die really fast. That's not true. Okay? Hospice changes the goal of their care from curing, which sometimes we can't. Whether it's a cancer or Alzheimer's, we can't cure things. We know they'll decline. So it changes your goal from curing to quality of life. Okay? But people, no. Quality of life is not giving morphine and making them die faster. That's not good. So Medicare actually did a study. They got 5,000 people roughly, and they said, let's see if that's true. So we're going to divide these 5,000 people into two groups. We're going to put 2,500 in one group, 2,500 in another group. And they'll have some kind of disease or condition that they're dying from. And let's see what happens. So the end of the story was that the people who were in hospice lived as long as the people who weren't in hospice. And for some conditions, they actually lived longer. But not only did they live the same or longer, but their quality of life was so much better. And so when people feel guilty about the hospice, oh my gosh, I'm giving up, that's not true at all. You're actually doing something better for the loved one and yourself. Okay? So the rules of hospice is that you have a life expectancy of 6 months or less, okay? So they can be on hospice for at least 6 months, at least. But most people are on hospice only 2 weeks because we wait till the last minute. And so, well, they can't be on hospice until they're comatose and in bed and can't speak and can't eat, and that's hospice. No, we have people who are on hospice who still go to restaurants. You know, we've had people go gambling, and I'm not saying you should do that, but we have people who still enjoy life, and yet they're on hospice because they're dying. But they're not bedridden, they're not comatose, they're not the way we think end of life should be. And so you get 6 months of a village instead of just 2 days or 2 weeks. And it's so important to have somebody, oh my gosh, something happened, I don't know what to do. What do I do next? Well, that's where you call the village.